There's just certain things in the comics that people really don't want you to portray when you make the film about it. And I have a feeling this might be one of those things. Like, at least it bugged me just a little bit. I still thought it was cool, but he's more chilled and he's got a bad boy vibe to him. Of course, you're gonna get different portrayals of different characters in a different film, played by different actors, directed by a different director. Come on, dude, this isn't Peter Parker. This is Pete. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hez Project. I'm John Ordalaza, and today we're continuing on our road to Spider-Man No Way Home by talking about all of the Spider-Man films in the lead up to it. Today we're talking about the Marc Webb Spider-Man duology, kicking it off with The Amazing Spider-Man starring Andrew Garfield. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, I did my reviews already for Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy with Tobey Maguire. You should go check those videos out. They're pretty fun. I had a lot of fun making them. I had a lot of fun revisiting the films, and this one I had some fun with too, but let's talk about it. Remember guys, I'm a youngin'. This movie came out when I was 12, so I was pretty hyped when I saw the trailer for it, because this is my homeboy, someone I grew up with, Spider-Man. I idolized this character, so I was just naturally invested already with this trailer that came out for the film. And when the movie came out, I was hyped as hell. So hyped, I probably thought it was the best Spider-Man movie at the time. I probably legitimately thought that. I don't think that now, but upon rewatch a couple days ago, I did enjoy myself watching this movie. There is a lot of good stuff in it, and quite a bit of cringe and not so amazing stuff in The Amazing Spider-Man. Let's start it off right here. Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, he's pretty good. I do enjoy his portrayal of the character of Spider-Man, but if I gotta say, his Peter Parker is such a departure from what I know Peter Parker to be. Now, I'm not a big avid comic book reader. I never read issues upon issues of Spider-Man growing up, or hardly ever, but I know a thing or two about the character of Peter Parker, and this is kind of a departure of what he's normally depicted as. And I'm fine with that for the most part. If you want to create your own film adaptation, you're more than welcome to. Once Pete puts his Spider-Man mask on for the first time, he goes to look for the car thief that killed Uncle Ben earlier in the film, played by Martin Sheen. He was good in the film, by the way. I enjoyed him. He's nowhere near as impactful as the guy who played Uncle Ben in the Sam Raimi universe. I don't know, dude, that portrayal, as short as both the roles are in both films, it was just more impactful in the Sam Raimi universe. This one, he was wrestling with a car thief that dropped his gun, and I guess he was trying to do, I don't know, the moral thing and try to take the gun from him, but he ended up getting himself killed, and I don't know how I feel about that. It's just, it felt a little sloppy to me. He doesn't even have a really good, solid monologue that he gives to Peter in this film. He just says a bunch of things that feel like they're beating around the bush of the "with great power comes great responsibility" line from the first film. He said something like, you're gonna do great things and you have a moral responsibility to do those things. I don't know what the hell he said. It's not memorable. It wasn't good, and it just came across as rambly. Maybe they were trying to go for a realistic take, because, you know, it's probably how uncles speak. It just doesn't come across as impactful as the movie wants you to think it does, and I just don't buy into Pete believing these words that his uncle says. Second time in a Spider-Man review, I go off topic to talk about Uncle Ben. Okay, going back where I was, Spider-Man. The first time Pete puts on the Spider-Man mask, he's going out to try to find the car thief that killed Uncle Ben. Never finds him, just finds a bunch of people that look like him. And this one, he gets in the car, he's already in the back seat, shows off the dope mask, and for the first time, we see a Spider-Man that we just haven't seen in live action. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man and Peter Parker never really had this quality about him of being quirky and kind of a smartass. He was kind of just like this well-put adult, this young adult. That's what he felt like to me. And rewatching those, like, yeah, he doesn't just look a little older, well, much older than an 18-year-old. He just has a vibe of, like, you are much older than you are. You're much more mature. I should say that. He comes across as more of a mature person than Spider-Man should be, I guess. He doesn't have those really funny one-liners and exchanges between characters. He did a little bit with Green Goblin and Doc Ock, just maybe a little bit, but never really explored to the extent that Andrew Garfield does in this one particular scene. It's just so good. And I'm not talking about it being played off for comedic effect or anything like that. No. I'm just talking about the spirit of Peter Parker coming out of Spider-Man. Like, it shows this kid is supposed to be young. He's a kid. But he's named Spider-Man, but he's supposed to be a kid. And I just think Peter Parker, Spider-Man, being depicted in that way was done so well in this scene. And Andrew Garfield, hats off to him for this scene. It was really good. The villain in this movie is the Lizard, and it's interesting. It's not my favorite face design. He looked very weird to me. I don't know. He just kind of looked like a nub. Like, I don't know if they really wanted to go with the whole snout and whatnot. They should have. I feel like, why not? Shoot, they probably thought that was too much. But come on, really? I mean, it's better than whatever the hell this face is trying to be. I would have been fine if they did something like he was going through a metamorphosis ever since he got injected with the serum or whatever. Like, he looked like this from the movie in the beginning, and then later on he becomes more lizard-like, a legit big-ass lizard, and he starts crawling on all fours. That'd have been insane. That would have been crazy, though. But yeah, they could have saved so much time with Kurt Connors. Like, have him had that secret hidden away in the beginning of the film. Like, we don't need to play it out and all that. Just have that be a secret or something. I don't know. That would have been an interesting way to go about things, but they chose this way and wasn't really into it. I like tying in the spider that bites Peter with Oscorp and like their experiments. That was really cool. A nice little unique twist. We just got like a random spider on a class field trip by Tobey Maguire. So it was a nice little way of differentiating the two. Emma Stone plays Gwen Stacy in this film, the love interest. There's no MJ, it's Gwen Stacy in here. And I thought she played the part pretty well. I actually quite enjoy these scenes between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. They're immensely awkward with each other. And I thought it was kind of funny growing up. Now I kind of think it's cute and kind of awkward. There's certain moments that are very cringe between the two, but I can laugh at it because like they're doing such a good job with each other. I gotta give it a pass because they're fun. They're fun. I like them together. And just that moment where he's trying to ask her to hang out after school and he just doesn't say anything. He's like, I was thinking maybe you and I could or we can do something else. Or I bought into the two's relationship. I bought into them being quirky and weird around each other because they were just so flustered whenever they got to be around each other. So I like that. I think that was well done. They're still just a little too aged up for my liking. Everybody in this movie still kind of has that aged up feel to them. Flash still feels like a 26-year-old. Andrew Garfield is, I believe, the same age as Tobey Maguire was when he filmed the first Spider-Man in 2002. So Andrew Garfield, all right, there's something about him though in this movie that makes me feel like he did fail a year or two. So I think he pulls off the role slightly more than Tobey, but they still are visibly older than 18. They're both not 18. Captain Stacy, played by Dennis Leary, I believe his name is. He voiced the Sabretooth in Ice Age. That's where I know him from. I think he was really good in the film. I actually really enjoyed his character. He played a real menacing cop figure, like an anti-hero, sort of. He was kind of being positioned as a baddie cop from the beginning, and then he obviously teams up with Spider-Man at the end, but honestly, this probably would have been a little too on the nose. I feel like he would have been an amazing Green Goblin as Norman Osborn. That would have been awesome. He's got that look. He kind of reminds me of William Dafoe a little bit, and I think he would have done an amazing job. He would have killed as Norman Osborn. But instead, we get a dead Norman and a hairy Green Goblin, but that's for the next review. Visual effects I thought were pretty well done, pretty decent for the time of 2012. It was going up in the same year as Marvel's The Avengers, so I think it holds up. With the exception of the lizard, again, I don't like the design of his face. That they should have went with something a little more lizard-like, or at least shown more of a transformation. Like he slowly gets lost into becoming this legit mutated lizard that walks on all fours. Like, they should have just went with that. They really should have. Other than that, I think everything else looks really good in this film. And the score, I don't know who composed it yet, but the score is awesome, is amazing. I love that theme that they composed for Spider-Man in here. They change it in the sequel, but I also love that one too. It's just really impactful and really epic. I got hyped every time I heard it. Where would I place this upon the other Spider-Man movies? It's definitely better than 3. I would say it's better than 3. I had a lot of fun with this movie. And again, Andrew Garfield is great as Spider-Man. He's not the best Peter Parker because he does have quite a bit of a departure of what Peter Parker is known for. And his version, known as Pete, is what I'm going to call him, I think was pretty good for what the movie was going for. They're going for a little more grounded in reality, a little more of a serious take. This is more like the Dark Knight of Spider-Man. It's not as dark as the Dark Knight, but compared to Sam Raimi's trilogy and Tom Holland's movies that are going on right now, it's definitely the more grounded in reality film of the 7 or 8, however many that we have, I don't know. Post-credit scene shows a defeated Lizard inside prison. He's visited by the man in the dark hat, cousin to the man in the yellow hat. And he says, "Did you tell the boy about his father?" Blah, 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 tips his hat, goes back into the shadow, and then Lizard just sits there. He's like, "You should leave him alone." And then he just cuts to black. So they were teasing quite a bit of stuff here. I'm not exactly still sure what they were teasing, but you'll get a little bit more of elaboration in the second film and their post-credit scenes, or the end of the film actually. They were teasing quite a bit in this film towards the end. Not a whole lot during the movie. They maintained focus of the plot, didn't deviate to tell you about, oh, these are all the sequels that we're planning. That's for the other one. But that is going to be it for my review of The Amazing Spider-Man from 2012. Let me know down below, what did you think of the film? Have you ever seen it? And what's your favorite first film so far? Between Sam Raimi's Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire or Marc Webb's The Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield? Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Be sure to stick around because we still have a couple films left in this Spider-Man run. We got the review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yay! The Spider-Man Homecoming film, Far From Home, all the way to Spider-Man No Way Home that comes out December 17th. I do believe there's a trailer reaction coming about around the time I'm going to release this video. I have no idea exactly when, but it might be up already, it might not be up. We'll see. But it is, guys, there's a lot of content coming to the channel, and there's more to come.